Hi, everyone. Hi, Sean. I see you. All right, we're just letting everybody in, so we get started. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for getting started, preparing your abstract for ICE Cartagena 2022. This is our first of two sessions that we'll have to provide some tips, guidance, best practices, information for people, and a time to answer questions. So as I'm going to do a short introduction while we let everybody get in and we get started. My name is Emily Smith Llinás. I'm the Latin America Caribbean Region Manager with AAPG based in Bogota, Colombia, from a home office. And I'm very happy to have joining me today, Roderick Perez, connecting from Vienna, Austria. Hi, Roderick. I think you're on mute. Yeah, and he'll get started in just a second. I wanted to make a quick announcement. We have set up this meeting as a Zoom meeting. And so that is that you can all put on your cameras and microphones and talk and share some information at the end. We are recording the session though. So we're going to be recording the session. And because we don't have permission from all of you to record your faces and your voices, we're going to disable microphones at the beginning of the session while we're doing the overview. So we will record this and have it available on our YouTube channel online after this meeting for the people who are not able to be here. So if you're not able to speak out loud, we apologize for that. We're not trying to keep you silent. We will allow you to all turn on your microphones at the end to ask questions when we stop recording, okay? So if you do have any questions about the meeting itself or about abstracts, you can feel free at the beginning part of the session to write them in the chat. And after we finished recording and done the formal presentation, we'll allow everyone to talk freely and openly and answer all the questions you have, okay? Does that make sense? Perfect. Okay, so I am going to close this presentation, and what we're going to start with today, while everyone's still coming in, is a little bit of an overview about what ICE is about. So I'm going to take this one. This is actually Roderick's presentation. I'm going to start out with a general overview of ICE Cartagena in general. Some of you are familiar with ICE events before, some of you are not. So I apologize if there's anything repeated here, but this is just telling you a little bit about the event itself, and hopefully get you all really excited about participating. So ICE is AAPG's International Conference and Exhibition. It's what we call our flagship international conference organized by AAPG. And again, if you're not familiar with AAPG, we're the largest association of petroleum geologists in the world. And we started out as petroleum geologists, but we now include a lot of disciplines. And we don't say American Association of Petroleum Geologists much anymore, because we're not just American and we're not just petroleum, and actually we're not just geologists. So we still use AAPG because that's our heritage. We've been around since 1917, and we have around 36,000 members in 129 countries across the world. So ICE is really our big international event. We do have an annual meeting that is traditionally in the US or in Canada, it's in North America once per year. And this year we actually worked in coordination with SEG, the Society of Exploration Geophysicists, and we'll be doing that for the next several years. But ICE is located in different places around the world. So we look for strategic locations, places where we have a lot of geoscientists based, or there's industry activity going on, and that's a really fun place to go, like Cartagena. So we have ICE in Latin America every 3 years. So we had our ICE event in Cartagena in 2013, in Cancun, Mexico in 2016, and in Buenos Aires in 2019. I know some of you connected were in Buenos Aires with us. That was a wonderful event. That was actually the last ICE event that AAPG had, because we had planned to come to be in Madrid in 2020, but the pandemic obviously prevented that from happening, and 2021 was complicated as well. So we're starting back our ICE events in the region again in 2022, and we're very excited about that. So this is kind of some ideas of who comes to ICE. Again, it varies a little bit by event, but we usually have 1,000 to 1,500 or so people that come from all around the world. The countries highlighted in blue are the countries that tend to send the most participants to ICE events. So US and Canada being big, Western Europe, England, UK, Norway, China, Saudi Arabia, Australia. We do have people from all over the world that come. So they may not have made it on the colored part of the map, but they do attend. Colombia tends to send a lot of people as well. And we hope to have a lot of Colombians in our event in Cartagena in 2022. So again, the event is really about 3 days, and I'll show you the schedule in just a minute. We're planning to have 200 to 250 oral and poster presentations in the technical program. We also have a business program that I'll talk about in a minute that kind of highlights what's going on in the country, and the countries and the region being focused, and then as well as papers from all over the world. We will be having an exhibition. We'll be having short courses that will take place prior to the formal conference, and we'll have field trips afterward. So again, the really fun thing we like to specify here is that it's an international audience. So while we will be in Colombia, while we will be in Latin America, we plan to have people from all over the world, and we're really looking forward to hosting them here in Colombia. So in addition to having technical professionals, we will be having government and industry leaders from national oil companies, international energy companies, and regulatory agencies and ministries of energies and governments. So this is kind of a schedule at a glance for ICE. So as I mentioned, we are planning to have the short courses on Monday and Tuesday. For those of you who are wondering what dates of the year are 18th to 9th of April, for those of you who are interested in Holy Week or Semana Santa, which is a big deal in our region, this is the week after Semana Santa. So the 17th of April is actually Easter Sunday. And so if you want to come spend Semana Santa in Cartagena, you're welcome. And then you can stay for the conference, or you can come for the conference. And if you're not taking Semana Santa off and want to take off the week afterward, that will be less crowded in Cartagena. So we'll have the short courses first. Those are actually managed by the Colombian Association of Petroleum Geologists and Geophysicists, ACGGP. They're our partner in this event. They also will be organizing the field trips that will take place after ICE. And then the formal program itself actually starts on the 19th of April. So we'll have some kind of pre-conference activities like a regulator meeting, visiting geoscience symposium. I know some of you are visiting geoscientists, so we might talk to you about giving a special talk there, history of petroleum geology, and then we'll start off with a regulator forum, a YP meet and greet for young professionals, connecting them with professionals, and then get into the opening ceremony. We will have some executive level sessions, National Oil Company Forum hosted by the President of Ecopetrol, and International Oil Company Forum with some large operators. We will not start the technical program at the same time as those forums because they're very important people and they want full rooms. So please go to their sessions and then we'll start the technical program. So all of the technical program where we're soliciting all the poster and oral presentations will start on Wednesday afternoon, April 20th, and we'll go all day on Thursday and all day on Friday until early afternoon. And we do encourage everyone to stay through till the end of the event and spend the weekend in Cartagena if you're available, stay around for the field trips. So that's kind of the overall schedule. The one big question that I'm getting a lot, and I want to go ahead and answer, is we are planning to have an online on-demand content component to the conference. While we want everyone who is available to come to Cartagena and participate actively in the in-person event, we understand that some people may not be able to do that. We still have a lot of variants with COVID and uncertainty. While Colombia is open right now and we're accepting, people can come in, no vaccine and no test required at the moment. And vaccination rates are very high in the country. We realize things could change. So we're planning to ask everybody as they submit a proposal to indicate whether they're able to come in person, if they'd like to come in person, if they're willing to be included in the online program as well. And we can answer more questions about that at the end. But the idea is that we will have components that are in person and components online. So we have something for everyone. And there's an opportunity to present and participate and publish in ICE 2022, whether or not you can actually come to Colombia. Okay. Again, I'm not going to necessarily read through all of this. These are just some of the highlights I mentioned about the different special forums. We'll be having some luncheon sessions and special sessions as well. So it's a very full program and it's really worth your time if you're able to come. So I hope you can start making plans to come now, whether or not you actually decide to present, because it will be a really good event. So the session themes, and again, you may have seen these in social media. We're looking at 8 session, they're actually technical program themes. I apologize, not session themes. That's a typo on my part. The technical program themes really are the areas where we're looking for papers, looking for presentations. The actual sessions themselves will be built based on what abstracts are received. And I know the chairs can talk about that a little bit more later. But as you can see, we have some very traditional themes that have been around ICE for a long time: petroleum systems, stratigraphy, sedimentology, geophysics, structural geology, et cetera, et cetera. But if you look toward the end, we also have some newer themes: energy, society, and environment. That's where all of the energy transition papers go. That's where we'll be including topics like CCUS, hydrogen, even different types of wind and solar energy. We hope to include some papers in those areas. We also have critical minerals, which is a big deal in our region and beyond, really looking at that as far as electric vehicles and things that are going on with the energy transition. And then Roderick's specialty, geodata science and artificial intelligence. Absolutely fascinating, the things that are happening in this field. So we hope to have a really strong program with good sessions about geodata science and AI and machine learning and all the things I don't even know how to pronounce. So we look forward to you all experts having the papers on that. So some important dates, and we'll look at these at the end as well. Call for abstracts is already open. The submission deadline is November 19th. We're planning to publish the program itself by mid to late January so that everyone can see it, get excited, and register to attend the event April 19th through 22nd. The other thing I wanted to know, some of them are connected. Some of the chairs are connected. I see Yvonne in there, a couple other people who have come in. I can't see everybody at the same time, so I may miss somebody. We do have some of our chairs connected. These are their names and companies. So if you're interested in a particular session, those are the names. If you have a question for one of these particular chairs about your session specifically, and we don't get to it today, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll have our contact information at the end. We can put you in contact directly with the chair. If you have specific questions, Juan Pablo's here also. For your chair, we can put you in contact with them. They're all very knowledgeable and very helpful, and I'm sure that they would love to reach out to you and answer any questions that you have about your session. We want everyone to feel really comfortable and excited about submitting, so please do feel free to send any questions that you have. So I am going to stop talking now and we'll get to the real meat of the session with Roderick. So you go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can share yours. And then you can go ahead, Roderick, to talk about share your knowledge. Roderick he's won some prizes from SEG. He's been present at a lot of events, and we're very proud of all that he's accomplished. And we're really happy to have him on as a theme chair. And it was actually his idea to do this session. So thank you, Roderick, so much for the idea. I think it'll be very helpful to everyone who's connected and everyone who watches online afterward. So go ahead.
Okay, can you confirm that you can watch my screen?
I'm seeing it.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks, Emily, for the introduction. Before I start, I would like to thank for the 30+ people that is connected right now. Just as a disclaimer, if you arrive a little bit late, Emily and the AAPG is recording the session, and for the reason we encourage to do not record the faces of the people. And if you are logging or coming back, please remember that, okay? That's the only reason. And let's start. Okay. The session of today is preparing your abstract for the ICE Cartagena. And this is going to be the first part of 2 sessions that we prepare in the organization, because we understand and that you may have an idea in order to present, okay, but maybe you don't have the structure, or maybe you are not feeling comfortable or not feeling that your topic is relevant enough, okay? And for the reason, we prepare at least 2 sessions that we're going to cover today. The first part, that is, we're going to talk about, like, okay, what is the objective of when you are presenting an abstract, okay? What is the structure that we as reviewers of data, we expect from your data to have, your paper? And also I would like to share with you some reference paper, very good and important papers that may help you in order to write in a proper way for this event. And the next, in 2 weeks, we're going to see each other, and then I will going to share with you some tools that I use along my career in order to write some of my abstracts and my thesis, and especially the casting methods. And then we're going to end with a brief summary. Also, I would like to thank the people from the AAPG, since they launched today a new website for the Cartagena event that you can find here in the Cartagena 2022 ICE event.org. Okay, and today we're going to go through some of the submitting process. In the way, if you have any questions about how to fill the form and everything, this will be a good idea in order to share if you have any questions. Again, this is some of important dates that we would like to be clear and share with you, since today is going to be this first session. Then the next session is going to be on November the 12th, that I'm going to cover how to give the final touches into your presentation. And remember that the deadline for submit the abstract is going to be November the 19th. Okay. And then for the December 15, we're going to present or share with the authors that if their papers has been accepted or not. And remember that the date for the ICE event is going to be between April the 19th to the 22nd in Cartagena, Colombia. And well, let's go. I'm really sure that more and a lot of people here has been very, very interested to write a paper, and you have the best idea ever in all of these topics that Emily shared before. And well, you think like, okay, I need to at least to have an abstract, an introduction, a content, some conclusions, and some reference, okay? And you are very excited, and you open your PowerPoint, your Word document that you start to write, but then at the second day, oh, it's a mess. You are ready, all of these cool ideas that you have in your mind is still there, but there is jumbling in your head, and maybe you don't have the right structure in order to put all this information in this document, okay? For the reason, I suggest and part of the organization, okay, talking about like APG, ACG, okay, they have a very good and very step-by-step website that you can find in the scg.org, and that they explain in very single detail how a good paper should look like, and what of this information should the structure of this document should have, okay? And first, okay, you need to have a title, okay? And then the most important are the abstracts and the introduction, especially when we are going to review the papers for these events. Maybe we are not expecting that the project is 100% ready, okay? But we expect at least that you have some preliminary results, and you have a good idea that it's going to have good result for the time that you're going to present, okay? And here in this website, you can see what are the good methods, some results, some discussion, all this little stuff, and they explain it in a very, very, very detailed way that we suggest that you can follow in order to keep organized your document. Also, here in this slide, I have a bunch of very good papers wrote by brilliant people that they explain in very simple words, again, what we should expect or what we should write in these documents. And I would like to start with this one for Dr. Kurt Marford, and it's basically called Stop Procrastinating. Okay, why? I mean, again, at this time we are October the 29th, and probably you are going to say, well, I will start next weekend, and maybe it's too late. I mean, this kind of stuff you need to prepare with time, and with more and more preparation time, the result is going to be better. And the three papers that they are, or reference, that they are in different color is because I'm going to share with you a little bit of, or a summary of these papers. And let's start with one of the most important for me as an editor of several articles in journals and technical magazines, as well as thesis, is the scrutiny of the abstract. And why? Basically because the abstract is the most important part of your work. Why? Because it's what the people is going to read more than 100 or 500 times. Okay, the abstract should summarize what your work did. Some people suggest that you write the abstract at the end, okay, because you may start to write the abstract at the beginning, but then all the work maybe is going to end in a different way. For the reason the people suggest that you should write the abstract after, and I'm going to tell you a few hints about how to write your abstract. Okay, and the most important here is that the abstract is the condensation and of the important information of your work. We don't, and it should be very, very short. Okay, we don't expect that the abstract start with the definition of machine learning and all that stuff. No, your work needs to answer a very specific question that we're going to discuss later. And also, especially for the people which are not English speaker by mother tongue, okay, that it is suggested that we should use a active voice. And again, for me, it was very hard to understand this concept, okay? And when you use passive voice, maybe it's not the best at the time that you present your work. And here I have some examples to share. For example, when you said the flat tire was changed by Sue, okay? This is a passive voice. You need to write everything in your document as Sue changed the flat tire, okay? Or mom read the novel in one day, instead of the novel was read by mom in one day, okay? There are a lot of information online how to convert or to use this terminology or this verb style on internet, and it will be very nice if you use it in order to make more appealing your work, okay? And remember that the abstract is the most important part of the document. And basically the people say, well, what should an abstract looks like? And it should basically answer the following 3 questions. And these questions were suggested by Kenneth Mandler, okay? And it should say, what did you do? How did you do it? And what did you learn as a society that, or as a community that it wasn't known before, okay? For example, what did you do? I did a seismic stratigraphy framework for unconventional reservoirs. How did you do it? Well, I used seismic well logs and microseismic. And what did you learn that it wasn't known before? I learned that the microfractures propagate more in the vertical direction due to the stress or due to the Andes compression of the tectonic setting, something like that. Those 3 sentences are the most important part and is what your abstract should answer at the time that you read your document, okay? And again, the reference of this very nice article is here that we're going to share with you this presentation after this talk. Then another important part is the introduction, okay? What the introduction should have, it is a matter, or the best reference paper is the reference by John Clairvaux that is a scrutiny of the introduction. And basically the introduction should have at least 3 of the followings. And it should have a review of your topic. For example, you may select between 3 to 10 papers that describe what is the state of the art. For example, if we're talking about that the seismic resolution, of course, we need to say that the vertical resolution was defined by who did this equation in 1984, so on and so forth, okay? And then you need to start at least to introduce to the reader what your topic is about and what is the state of the art, okay? However, it's not an historical review. Why? Because we don't want to say that since the beginning of the time, I mean, no, we need to take why these papers, and we need to say why these papers were important, what they were the contribution, okay, and how do they connect to your topic, okay? Also, then you need to say a claim, or that what is in Spanish could be like the proposal or la propuesta of your work, okay? And it's going to say to the reader what is the contribution of your work into the community, in this case, the geoscience community, okay? Why? For example, the analysis of the Precambrian rocks in the Llanos basin, it is important for the petroleum system in Colombia, for example, and so on. It's a very simple, and it at least open the eyes to the reader, like, oh yeah, this is going to be a very interesting paper, okay? And it keep it anxious about what is going to read. And finally, the outline. Then you're going to say, well, in the first part of this paper, or in this case, in this abstract or research work, I am going to introduce which are the most important concepts in rock physics. And then we're going to evaluate how the equations of the Lamé parameters were calculated. Then we're going to discuss the methodology. Then we have some reviews, and finally we have some conclusions. That's what in the introduction should have. And basically, again, I would like to keep this because it is very important that if you have an idea, if you follow this step-by-step methodology or structure, I guarantee you that you're going to have a very nice document to present. And again, now it is important to understand that that right now we need to be storytellers. Okay, you need to tell or to write a story to the reader. You need to start to convince the reader that the work that you're doing, even that is maybe abstract in some sense, it is important, and you need to bring everything to the reader very easily to digest, and also to make it to understand, even that is not a topic that the reader is confident about. And personally, in my case, this is an advice from my PhD advisor, Kurt Marford, that he said, this is very simple. You take 10 of the most important, 10 of your more important figures of your work, okay? And then you're going to select them. You're going to take these first 10 figures, and then the idea is to connect, okay? You're going to take each of the figures, and then you need to label the figures. For example, you need to, in figure 1 is going to be, this is the map of Colombia, and this is in the circle, then we're going to have the location of the area of study. Then you're going to show in the second figure, this is the seismic line, whatever. And then you're going to construct the story. And then you're going to be in front of on your figures, and then you're going to write based on the figures that you already select. Okay, for me, this is a very good way to have something to read, and again to connect all the ideas that I want to present to my reader. And basically, you may think like, why 10? Okay, because this is the caveat. We hope that the work that you're going to present, not only for this conference, because we hope that you're going to be committed into the society, this work can be published in future magazines, in all the magazines that the geoscience community have. Could be Interpretation, The Leading Age, Explorer, AAPG, so on and so forth. And the majority of these magazines or journals, they have like a limit of at least 10 figures to present. And I mean, you can present more, but then you can pay a little bit more. And as they say, that is dependent of the work. You can the cost could increase substantially. For the reason, it's better to keep at least 10 figures, and this is my personal advice. Then again, before to submit the work, your research paper into to the conference, okay, we suggest to visit the checklist that the people from the SCG suggest, okay, that it will tell you all these little steps that it is very important to follow, because these little details may do your work to be good, to be better, okay? And it is important that you go and take the time, and for the reason, if you work, if you start to do it with enough time, the results are going to be substantially better. And finally, well, you already have your paper, you already follow the structure that we suggest. Then you are going to be, now we're going through then how to submit the paper. And again, this is the new website that the people from the AAPG upload today. Okay, we're going here are some resources and some guidelines that also you can have, and they suggest all these little steps like what the reviewers were going to take into account at the time to accept or reject one of these articles for this conference. Okay, and the most important again is the how it's written. And I have the experience that a lot of the works they have is very good work, but maybe the idea that you have in your mind you is not well expressed and is not shared in good enough to the reader. Okay, and remember that, for example, the abstract should have some relevance, usefulness of the objective, quality, and the most important are the questions that I shared before. Remember that, and we're going to go through the forms that you're going to fill for this event. And the most important in this case, that the abstract should have a maximum of 2,500 characters, including spaces. For the reason you need to be concise about what you're going to do. And as a technical thing, a lot of people has been asking me through LinkedIn, and they contact me personally. And if your abstract is accepted, the presenter it must register for the conference and pay the presenter registration fee in order to participate in the event. Now let's go through again. If we go and you click submit abstract, okay, then you need to go here, and after read carefully, okay, you need to click in submit abstract, okay, and fill you're going to find this form, and you need to select to which technical program are you going to submit your paper. As Emily mentioned before, for this conference we have 8 themes, and for example, in this case, if we select critical minerals for energy, okay, then you need to write the name of your title in this section. Then here is where you are going to add your abstract, okay. It not necessarily need to be in the Word document that you're going to submit, okay. And remember that maximum it should have 2,500 characters. Then you need to fill the presenter's name, the last name, the name of the institution, and the contact information such as the email. Also, they have a primary author information, and remember that usually we have collaborations, but only one person can present the work, and this is the person that it should be in this part. Okay, it should be if I'm working with Emily Llinás and Diana Ruiz. In this case, Diana is the person that is going to be here. However, one thing is the presenter, and the other thing is the main person who is going to attend to the conference or is going to present the work. Okay, for that reason, here in the abstract is going to ask you if the presenter, the presenter is the first person that is like the main contributor of the work. And then you can add as many authors you would like to add into the form. And then finally, it is important for us to know if you are going to attend personally to Cartagena. And also this is very important because in person, we would like to know if you are only looking for an oral presentation, or you would like to be as part of a poster presentation. As a personal preference, sometimes maybe you just want to present your work into an audience, but in this kind of events, when someone is in the podium talking to the audience, maybe the people can have some questions, but that's all. However, especially for students, or if you would like to have more interaction with your audience, okay, I suggest to take a poster presentation. Why? Because for the people who never has been in this kind of, or never had this opportunity You display your work, and then you are going to have the opportunity to not limit it on time, because usually these poster presentations are, for example, between noon till 4, okay? And then during those 4 hours, anyone who is looking to go to your work, then you can chat, and then you can point into a figure, and it is a different feeling. And not only we suggest that you should also take into account at the time to fill this form. And yes, basically this is all what I need to say about this. And well, then you click for the button of submit, and you're going to receive an email that's a confirmation that your work has been received. And then the team of reviewers, we have till December the 15th to review your work, okay? And as a summary, and I hope that you, at the end of this talk, you take this not only for this conference, but also for your professional career and life, is that if you follow not the right structure, but if you follow a structure, then you're going to be, all the ideas that you have in your head are going to go through, and it's going to be displayed in a better way for the audience to be read it, and hopefully to your paper and your work be accepted for this conference. Remember that the abstract at least should answer the main 3 questions. What did you do? How did you do it? And what did you learn that you didn't know before? And well, the introduction should be not a historical review, but what is the state of the art, selecting the most important papers in the area, okay? And we highly suggest that before to submit it, go to the checklist and check if all the figures have the right label, all the numbers connect to each other, and so on and so forth. And before to open the floor for a Q&A session, I would like to give you or share with you a small fragment of the book from Adam Grant called The Originals. And it says, when it comes to idea generation, quantity is the most predictable path to quality. And here the authors mention that, for example, Mozart create more than 600 pieces of music, but of course he has been famous for at least 5 or 10. However, his work is more than that. In the same way that Thomas Alva Edison, he patented more than 1,000 patents, meaning that the most important is that you need to push yourself, and this is an advice, that you need to push yourself in order to show these ideas. Maybe these ideas are not it's not going to solve the world, but especially in the situation that we are right now in the energy transition, we need all of you to publish your idea, to share it to the world. And this kind of conference, it is a very good opportunity to display your work for the better. And finally, the best advice that Marford gave to me is write, and write, because as much it's better to delete that start to create from scratch. And for the reason of any of you, if you have any questions right now, this one was the first session that we are preparing for all of you. Again, for November the 19th, November the 12th, we're going to also share like a very quick session like this one about giving the final touches to present your work and your abstract for the conference. And remember, and write it anywhere, that the deadline to submit your work is November the 19th. Okay. And yes, thanks Emily and Diana Ruiz for organizing this event and all the great work that they are doing. And Roderick Perez, this is my email. You can feel free to contact me through LinkedIn especially, or yeah, if you have any questions or comments, please